Matsuo Bashö, 1644–1694, born Komathan Matsuo Chūemon Munefusa, was the most famous poet of the Edo period in Japan. During his lifetime, Bashö was recognized for his works in the collaborative haikai no renga form. Today, after centuries of commentary, he is recognized as the greatest master of haiku, then called hokku. Matsuo Bashö's poetry is internationally renowned, and, in Japan, many of his poems are reproduced on monuments and traditional sites. Although Bashö is justifiably famous in the West for his hokku, he himself believed his best work lay in leading and participating in renku. He is quoted as saying, "Many of my followers can write hokku as well as I can. Where I show who I really am is in linking haikai verses." Bashö was introduced to poetry young, and after integrating himself into the intellectual scene of Edo, modern Tokyo, he quickly became well known throughout Japan. He made a living as a teacher, but then renounced the social, urban life of the literary circles and was inclined to wander throughout the country, heading west, east, and far into the northern wilderness to gain inspiration for his writing. His poems were influenced by his first-hand experience of the world around him, often encapsulating the feeling of a scene in a few simple elements. Bashö was born in 1644, near Ueno, in Iga province. His father may have been a low-ranking samurai, which would have promised Bashö a career in the military, but not much chance of a notable life. His biographers traditionally claimed that he worked in the kitchens. However, as a child, Bashö became a servant to Todo Yashitada. Together they shared a love for haikai no renga, a form of collaborative poetry composition. A sequence was opened with a verse in 5/7/5 more format. This verse was named a hokku, and would centuries later be renamed haiku when presented as a standalone work. The hokku would be followed by a related 7/7 more verse by another poet. Both Bashö and Yashitada gave themselves haigo, or haikai pen names. Bashö's was Sobo, which was simply the onami, Sino-Japanese reading, of his adult name, Munefusa. In 1662, the first extant poem by Bashö was published. In 1664, two of Bashö's hokku were printed in a compilation. In 1665, Bashö and Yashitada together with some acquaintances composed a hyakuin, or 100-verse renku. In 1666, Yashitada's sudden death brought Bashö's peaceful life as a servant to an end. No records of this time remain, but it is believed that Bashö gave up any possibility of samurai status and left home. 8. Biographers have proposed various reasons and destinations, including the possibility of an affair between Bashö and a Shinto Miko named Jutai, which is unlikely to be true. Bashö's own references to this time are vague. He recalled that at one time I coveted an official post with a tenure of land, and that there was a time when I was fascinated with the ways of homosexual love. There is no indication whether he was referring to real obsessions or fictional ones. He was uncertain whether to become a full-time poet. By his own account, the alternatives battled in my mind and made my life restless. His indecision may have been influenced by the then still relatively low status of renga and haikai no renga as more social activities than serious artistic endeavors. In any case, his poems continued to be published in anthologies in 1667, 1669, and 1671, and he published a compilation of work by himself and other authors of the Chaka school, The Seashell Game, in 1672. In about the spring of that year he moved to Edo, to further his study of poetry.